These guys need to go in the ground, like now. The problem with that is, this is where they go. So the agenda for today is to get this tarp off of here, get rid of all of the things that we're using to hold it down, and then weed it. So let's get to work, and hopefully by this evening, once it's cooled off a bit, it's actually rather cold anyways, but the evening time is the best time to plant. So that's what we're gonna do. Trying to stay far away from any potential snakes that might be hiding under this thing. There's definitely some struggling growth under there, so that kind of tells me there's probably some holes in my tarp, which is not surprising because I've not been that careful, I'll be honest. But I also gotta say that the spots where there is the struggling growth, there are no holes. I don't know what's going on. It does look beautiful. It looks promising. I'm gonna go find some rakes and shovels and get all the growth out from underneath there that I possibly can. And then we'll get to work planting us some cabbage. But we can't plant cabbage until this evening. It stresses out the plants too much, from what I hear. Could be wrong. I'm sure people do it. Because, you know, people farm and they farm all day long. Humphrey is doing nothing. The cabbage is doing fantastic in our new Vigo garden bed. For those of you who did see my last vlog where we built this garden bed, the spring sale that they're having right now, where they're having 30% off of a bunch of stuff, is going on until the 31st of March. So if you're toying with the idea, go ahead and save yourself some money. Order it now. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the results here. So I'm not gonna completely gut everything from this bed, because you can see there's a ton of good mulch here with all of these leaves and the grasses and stuff. So I'm just gonna pull up the living stuff and chop and drop. I mean, that's about all I really can do. I think that's about all I really should do with it. I want to make sure that it's got plenty of mulch, and the more mulch that is naturally occurring on this bed is less mulch that we have to truck in. Last year in this bed, I tried to grow beets and radishes. The radishes did fine, but I don't think I had a single beet actually germinate. So we're gonna try a few different things this year to see if I can get better any germination on beets. But you can, like, it just kind of pulls right back. There's some stuff that's still hanging on for dear life here. Heaven only knows what it is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up all of the stuff that is obviously living and leave it where it is. Actually, I think I'm gonna rake it and see. I'm gonna rake it back so I can make sure to pull all the roots. I'm gonna rake it away and then rake it back. See what happens. Let's see what that does. I feel like this is the winner way to do it. We have something in this area that I'm told by locals is called Johnson grass. I'm sure every single area has their type of grass that is just the massive, invasive, pain in the butt, spreads by rhizomes, like hard to get rid of, pretty near impossible to get rid of. And around here they call it Johnson grass. So it has absolutely made its home in my garden. So hopefully just bit by bit, year by year, we'll be able to slowly at least diminish its population in my garden, but who knows. entirely sure how to put this, but that was probably one of the easiest bed preps that I think I've ever done. And I now understand why market gardeners do the 30-inch rows. That's what I did for these 2 rows. Once I remembered that I built these so that I could straddle them and walk down them to weed, and I actually started doing that, oh my gosh, it went so fast. So the 2 tools that I used to, like, I literally hand prepped this bed in less than an hour. 2 beds, mind you. 2 beds that are probably, I want to say they're like 40 foot long, with these 2 tools, a hori-hori and a handheld, I think it's called a stirrup hoe. After using this thing, okay, I've always been sold on the hori-hori. I'll link both of these for you guys down below if you're interested in getting them. This one is intermittently available on Amazon, and I've never seen it in stores. They do have like the big tall handle ones that I'm gonna pick up next time I go into town, because I've never actually used this thing, and it was amazing. It just glides right through the soil. It got all of the roots from that nasty grass that grows here. It just pulled them all up, and then I raked them away. Like, I'm sold. But this one is fantastic for anything with really long roots. You can see how long this blade is. It is, what's that? It's like 7 inches long. It's got a little thing on here so you can cut any bags. It's like a, you know, like one of those bladed ripper things. It's got, this side is really sharp. This side is serrated and really sharp. This one in particular is fantastic. This was actually gifted to me, I think last year, by a viewer. Found it for me on my wish list, and she had it sent to me, so thank you again for that. This thing comes in handy every single day. Well, every day that I'm out in the garden. It's a very widely useful multi-tool in the garden. You can use it to get really long tap roots. You can use it, I usually use it mostly for planting, because you just put it in there, pull it back, plant it in there, and push it back, and it's really simple. So I'll link both of these for you down below, but that went so much quicker than I anticipated it would. I'm not entirely sure what to do with the rest of my day, so let's go find something else to do. We can up-pot our measly harvest of peppers. Yes. So I do still have 1 flat of, what do you call this, soil left over from last year, and we're gonna go ahead and use it. It needs some water. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dang dry. I'm also using some of these old pots that didn't really do well. It's really nice when you can kind of discern what different plants look like, because this one, if you were kind of a novice gardener, you might be like, oh, that's a pepper plant. That, my friend, is lamb's ear. It's a weed. It's technically a weed. It has a lot of medicinal benefits to it, but I don't want it in my pepper garden. So we're gonna toss that one. So we have 1, 2, let me count. In this tray we have 23 that is ready to up-pot. So we're gonna do that. With these ones, you can see I only made 1 tag for each variety, so I'm gonna have to make up some more tags, because I do want to be able to tell which ones are which, so that I can harvest and save the seeds, so that I don't have to buy more seeds. So in order to accomplish that goal, we gotta make more tags. When I'm making the soil to fill these, like for the up-potting, I do like to include a little bit of native soil in there. I generally do, like, I'll do 1 shovel of my seed starting mix, 1 shovel of compost, and 1 shovel of native soil, and mix all up. It's like 3 equal parts, and I try to keep it as equal as possible. It's not the end of the world if I screw it up. I don't really care that much. And frankly, neither do the plants on the level that I'm doing this. I am not a big, massive gardener that has to have perfect success or anything like that. This is just for me, my family. I might give and sell some of the excess, but for the most part, like, most of this is going to the animals, so I really don't care. Well, not the peppers. The peppers we care about. Peppers and maters. That's the cash crop around here. Everything else, don't really care a whole lot about. So first thing I gotta do is attempt to get this soil rehydrated. I don't know how successful I'll be, but I'm gonna try. Where's my watering can? There you are. We'll just get this sucker hydrated. Because the last batch of this stuff that I had did go, what do you call it? It was hydrophobic, but I believe that I had rehydrated this tray. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. So while that is going, we need to mix up a batch so that we can make more of these, because I do have one other tray of peppers that I want to up pot. So this one flat is not going to be enough. I'm going to make several trays today because I've got not only the peppers, but then I've got some flowers that are ready to up pot. And what else do I have? And I've also just got stuff that's coming down the pike in the future. The tomatoes, the kale, all that kind of stuff. That's also going to have to be up potted. So. And then whatever I have left over, whatever of this soil mix I have left over, I'll just put it right back in that bin so that I can use it next time I want to make a tray. In order to up pot these, depending on the tray that you're using, it can be simple or not simple. These ones, unfortunately, are a little bit more challenging because the other trays that I use have, I don't think I have any in here to show you, but they have very large openings at the bottom. They're like 3/4 of an inch, maybe even a full inch. So you can just stick your finger through it. But these ones have very small openings. I don't even know if you can tell, but it makes it a little bit more difficult. But it's fine. It still works. And I know in the garden store, they sell, or in the garden, whatever, I don't know if they sell them in the stores, but a lot of people when they're first starting gardening on these little tag things, they will say, they'll start out thinking, hey, I'm gonna write on it with a Sharpie and it's gonna be great. Halfway through the season, the sun has worn off the Sharpie and you can't see it anymore. But then they also sell garden pens that you can buy that will, I've never purchased one, but apparently they will last through the whole season and beyond. Like they'll just stay on there. They're not super cheap. I find just literally just a 0.7 cheapo Bic pencil is the best thing in the world. You wanna know why? It lasts all season and it erases so you can reuse it next year. I'll link anything in the bottom of this video that I find helpful, including these little tags. You get 1,000 of them for, I think it was like 10 bucks. Don't get me wrong, don't come at me if I'm wrong, but I believe that these were $10 for 1,000. And you can reuse them for a long time. They do break eventually. I mean, they're about the quality of like blinds, you know, like the mini blinds. They're kind of like that. Now, you can see some of these little ones they're kind of ready, like they just got their set of true leaves. The majority of these are nice, they're big, and they're ready to go. These ones here, you can see they're just getting their true leaves. Same with this one here, but its cellmate right here does not have their true leaves yet. This one is just starting to get their true leaves. This one is just a little bit bigger and it has their first set of true leaves. But you can tell the difference between this guy here, regardless of size. It just has these two little leaves, and that's the point when you want to start fertilizing them. And then this one here has developed their, what people call, true leaves. I'm going to make a bunch of tags and then we can unpot these things. I'm running short on cayennes here. Thankfully I restarted an entire new batch. You can see why I did. The germination rates on these things are horrid. I feel like I'm still, like, even though I know I shouldn't up pot these ones that don't have their true leaves yet, I feel like it's still gonna happen. Normally when I'm growing things, I'll plant a couple seeds in each little cell, and I'll usually kill off the less productive looking one, but I got very little to work with here, so they're all getting up potted here. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and fertilize these bad boys so they can really do their thing. This is rooster blood, diluted a lot in water, and that's all. Chicken blood, not everybody knows, but even if you're in a homestead and you have extra chickens, maybe you raise your own chickens for meat, or if you have extra egg layers or unproductive egg layers, extra roosters, you name it, their blood is like gold in the garden. You can just dilute it. From what the people on the internet say, you need to dilute it 1 to 10. So 1 part the blood to 10 parts water. I dilute it more than that because I'm just kind of nervous. I don't want to burn it with nitrogen. It's a great way to just get some free fertilizer. We had the extra rooster, and now we also have fertilizer for our garden. Yay! Just about the only thing I'm aware of that will actually help with the armadillos is getting a dog. We're just not ready for that kind of commitment yet, but honestly, if the armadillos start really coming after my garden, it's going to become a priority. I forgot to count. 37. Let's go pick, because we got a heck of a lot more than 37. All right, what we got here? Broccoli, cauliflower. It's been like 14 seconds. I don't even remember what I said. Cabbage sure does take up a lot of room. I might have to do some here too. Okay, so Brussels sprouts. Where are my Brussels sprouts? Long Island improved. Cabbage. Romanesco. Amazing. I thought I planted more than one type of Brussels sprouts, so I guess it didn't do well. Yeah, I guess not. So we got 12. We got 12 Brussels sprouts. What did I say, 37? I think I'm gonna skip the broccoli and cauliflower. I just feel more promises with the cabbage, and I love cabbage more. So we got Bobcat. Oh, Red Bull Brussels sprouts. Here we go. We got 7. And Catskill. Good grief. 4 more. Alright, I guess we're doing that second bed, huh? That's the plan. If you can call it a plan, which probably cannot. Let's do this one. Y'all, seriously, these 2 tools plus a Cobra, I feel like you could tackle just about any gardening situation you came upon except building the garden. Like, and if you have good soil, it could probably take care of that too. I'm not kidding. If you guys don't have these, y'all get them. Okay. I've just been jamming out on my headphones. 25. All right, we're finally ready to throw these guys in the ground. You can't see that hole. Can you see this hole? You can. All right, so this is the Cheers cabbage. This particular row is going to be, I would say, about half cabbage and half cauliflower, because I just decided that I'm going to plant all the cabbage because that's what I want. And it's my garden, so I can do what I want. That's one of the nice things about growing your own garden. So what I do, I just have this it's a mealworm, the earthworm castings. I got it at Costco. It was like 10 bucks for the bag. It's so far, I bought it when we first moved here 2 years ago, so it lasts a very long time. And then I just put a little bit of dirt on top of it. There we go. And cabbage, cauliflower, just for the sake of argument, just about every plant that I'm aware of, except for tomatoes, you need to plant it flush with the crown. So the crown would be, I should have watered these a little bit yesterday. So you can kind of tell it's like about a perfect amount of roots on here. Maybe a little bit less would be ideal, but it's enough to kind of hold it together, but it's not so much that it's starting to kind of swirl around inside the cup to where it's going to get root bound. But you want to plant it just flush with the soil that's currently in the pot that you're doing. Tomatoes are an exception. They like to be deep planted and their roots will grow even stronger for it. And then I kind of make like a little bit of an indent just so it can hold a little bit of water as I'm planting it. So we're just gonna do the rest of this. Thankfully with this auger, it shouldn't take me too long. And then once you get everything in the ground, water it in really good. If you have some kind of a nitrogen fertilizer, it's ideal to use that. I have a fish emulsion. It's got to be like 4 years old. But it still works. I hope. It seems to. So, and I just used, it's at a rate of 1 ounce per gallon. These things are super handy for spreading out fertilizer. You can see how these little circles are super handy. They just collect the water, so you don't have to worry about runoff. Depending on the time of year, sometimes I will fill up the circle 2 times or sometimes 3 times. If it's really hot, then I'll fill it up 3 times. And that's where I'll just run through the whole row, water it once, go back, and then back again. Usually by the 3rd pass, it pools pretty good, and it doesn't drain very quickly. So it's nice to do the whole row at a time. It kind of helps. So I'm gonna finish planting all of these cabbages and Brussels sprouts, and then depending on what time it is, we might come back and cover these with the white cloth that I have, or we'll come back and do that tomorrow. And cross our fingers that armadillos don't find our garden overnight. These are the fiberglass poles that I was talking about. You just put them in the garden, you bend them over. You could put a plastic tarp, like a greenhouse cloth, over top of it to make like a little caterpillar tunnel. What we're gonna put on top of it, which is the white cloth, and honestly that might be traded out at some point for a shade cloth. I just thought of that. We could get a little bit longer of a season out of these cold crops. Let's start stabbing these in the ground. I'm hoping that they just won't go under it. I don't think it'll work, but we'll try. I don't have any other way to defend against an armadillo.
Yeah.
Those dopey cats are gonna have a heyday with this thing.
Yeah.
The netting that I have is 10 feet wide. So I don't know if I can extend it to make it cover both, but I'm gonna try. Nope. Hat! Get off my plant! I think it's getting a little bit too late to be able to finish these 2 over here. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of a hack. I've used this before many times, mostly in Washington, where we struggled a lot with slugs. And this kept all of my plants completely slug-free until they were too big, of course. And this trick doesn't work. But for now, for the next few days, honestly, this will work for the next few weeks. And that is plastic cups. I got the clear cups just so that it doesn't mess up my plants. And it is tedious because you can't leave it on during the day. You do need to take it off during the day. It does help if you put like an irrigation, like a drill bit, and drill through the bottoms, or you can even take like a poker and like burn it with a little bit of a fire, and then it'll just slide right through them all. And what you do, just remember, take this off during the day unless it's like crazy cold. So that's why it's the tedious part. But basically, get one of these things separated. You just put it over there. You kind of give it a little bit of a snug push into the soil there. I have to do this with one hand. So you just kind of take all this starch in there and give it just a little push, nothing crazy, just to make sure nothing can get in through the edges. If I'm being real, I think that this cup will be just as effective as I think that those will be against repelling armadillos. It's probably not. But if you don't live in an area that has armadillos, that's not your problem and you don't need to worry about it. We, however, do. Armadillos destroyed this part of the garden last year. So I think honestly, really, we're probably going to end up needing to get a dog, but we'll find out, because an improperly trained dog is worse than no dog. And we just don't know how to train dogs, and We don't know what we're doing. Cats are driving me crazy. Anyways, I need to hurry. Oh, cat! Get out here! I need to woo-saw here for a minute. I knew this was gonna happen. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce so that I can really hurry up. Get off of there, cats! Get away! I need a dog. And if you guys wanna know what we did last time, make sure you check out this video right here. Peace out, sauerkraut.